We have a few guests behind us up here, so please keep an eye on me. It's an osprey's nest, and they have 2 babies up there, so I'm going to depend on you to watch my back for any bombs that may head my way. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Once again, good morning and welcome to Bay Point Middle School's 50th anniversary celebration. My name is Jason Shedrick, and I'm the current principal of Bay Point Middle School. At this time, I would like to recognize and have them stand any school board members in attendance. Ms. Terry Krasner, our beautiful Area 1 Superintendent, Ms. Pat Wright, Councilman Newton, Councilman Cornell, one of our newest area associate superintendents, Ms. Matway, any former principal, please stand. And we very well know the next group of people is the hardest working group of people it is. Any former and present assistant principals, please stand. And the people who work just a little bit harder than those people, any former or present staff or faculty of Bay Point Middle School Falcons, please stand. To all of you, welcome to Bay Point Middle School, and we thank you all for celebrating this prestigious event with us. It's Bay Point Middle School's 50th anniversary. This morning, we stand before you. We stand before you celebrating 50 years of building dreams, 50 years of molding minds for the future, 50 years of being an educational institution and lifeline within this community. Today we stand together, united as one, Falcons, Bay Point Middle School, and I thank you all for coming. We stand united as one sound, one heartbeat for education. It's because of each and every one of you and your dedication and willingness to never give up on students, we stand together as the pillar in this community. To the past and current faculty and staff, thank you for paving the way. Thank you for never giving up. Thank you for helping our students understand education is the golden key to success yesterday, today, and 50 years from now. That would never change. That's priceless, and we thank each and every one of you. It's because of you that I'm allowed to stand in front of you this morning and celebrate 50 years of Bay Point Middle School. So for each and every one of you, past and present, community alike, together we stand, and I thank you. I'm going to ask Rena Howard if she's in attendance to come up. Yes. Come on up, Rena. This is a current Bay Point Middle School student. Rena has written a letter to the future of Bay Point Middle School that will go in our time capsule. So whoever stands before anyone here 50 years from now will open that letter and see how it was then. Miss Rena Howard.
To future Bay Point students, 2013, while it is my present, it is your past. The past is what holds the key to the future. What makes the past so amazing is that it keeps our memories. Not just any memories, though, Bay Point's memories. The school that has been around for 50 years and hopefully 50 more. As the past gets further away, we have to remember it. Our school will always be remembered. From teachers to students, everything has come and gone. Questions may be in your mind. What was school like for you? How did school look? Now all of your questions will be answered. Bay Point is very big and might even be bigger to you. There are so many classrooms and what seems like 10 times the students. Right in the middle of our campus is our school symbol, the falcon. In my opinion, it highlights the school. It represents what we stand for as one school altogether. What is unique about the campus is the dozens of birds surrounding the school. There's not one time of day when I cannot see a bird in the sky. There is no doubt about it, our school is special. To me, school is like an adventure. I never know how the day is going to turn out, but that is not a bad thing. There is something new on every corner, whether it is something new I learn or someone new I meet. I have learned a lot this year and have had fun while doing it. There is something different in each class. I admit some things have been tough, but not everything is going to be easy. I just keep going. My classes are probably not that different from yours. I have projects like any other student and homework too. I just have to manage it all. As for me, I am like anyone else. I have good friends that I like to spend time with, and I work hard at school. I always have time for my friends and family and love to spend time with them. The most important thing in school to me is my grades. I keep track of everyone and await my report card. My world today is pretty advanced, but I can only imagine the kind of technology you have. We have technology from smartphones and tablets to iPods and e-readers. I bet so many things seem old for you. I think it is nice to hear about inventions from the past. It shows me the new possibilities that have come to be. My favorite piece of technology is the smartphone. It can do so much in such a little size. Whether texting or browsing the internet, the options seem limitless. I enjoy all the inventions of today. So this is my present and your past. You have gotten to see my life now, and I will see yours when I get there. Bay Point Middle School will always be someone's school, and I am grateful to call it mine. There's no doubt there's no other school like it. My advice is to follow the school saying, one step, one sound, one heartbeat.
Could you please give her another round of applause? Rena Howard. Thank you. At this time, to speak on the community focus, Councilman Mr. Newton.
The words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, my strength, O Lord, my Redeemer. Good morning. And before we get started, if you will, join me in a moment of silence in remembrance of Mr. Ransberger and all the attributions and contributions he paid to this city in education. May God bless his soul. Also, I want to be the first, or one of the first, on the 15th of the 100th, to thank Ms. Lori Matway. Ms. Matway has been a champion for education, I guess, long as I can remember. I mean, in the school board, in the city, and now back in the school board. Those type of relationships are needed. We stand here today to celebrate 50 years, half a century of education in this community, half a century educating young minds to go out and do big and better things. I, too, am a product of the Pinellas County school system, Rosa Park Elementary, 16th Street Middle School, and Northeast High School, class of 81. I'm glad to be here today to celebrate 50 years, and I wish Bay Point Middle the best success in 50 more years. It's going to be a lot of adversity, but remember, the Bible says train up a child. It didn't say a black child, didn't say a white child, didn't say your child or my child. It says train up a child in the way it should go. And these trying times where we're arresting a lot of juveniles and putting them into the Pinellas County juvenile justice system to the tune of 8,000 in this county, this education is more needed now than ever. Over 75% of the people incarcerated in the Pinellas County Jail have no high school diploma. So it's a direct correlation between the schools and education and the success of our future. These are the young critical minds that are going to cure cancer, diabetes, heart disease, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's if given the opportunity to realize their full potential. Thank you.
To speak on educational focus, Councilman Cornell.
Thank you. I've been told the Osprey will attack if I overextend. I have about 2 minutes, so I'm going to try to keep it on target. Education is really important. I want to commend Rena as a young person for standing up here and saying that she cares about her grades, because one thing that I've learned over 27 years of working with children is that it's not a cool thing to say that you care about your grades. I've got a lot of kids who are making straight A's, and I heard about it and was like, oh, that's kind of great. And they were like, I remember one time I was in front of 100 teenagers, and the young lady was sitting in the back, and I said, I want to say something about her, and she's like in the back going, no, don't say that I make straight A's. And that's a problem. That's a dynamic that we need to change. So you young people that are here today, think about it this way. I use Bill Gates as an example. Do you know who Bill Gates is? Microsoft. He has the big glasses. Now think about what Bill Gates was told in high school and middle school. Probably some of the football players might have made fun of him. You know, he had those big old glasses. He was not necessarily the cool kid in middle school and high school. But what I want to tell you is, I doubt that a single one of you would not want to trade places with him right now, because he has $39 billion. He's retired at probably younger than me, at least my age, and started a foundation to help people. You know, and you can do that same thing. Other things, so the point that I'm trying to make to you is education is important, and your perspective that you have right now in middle school can change. Because when you get out of middle school, when you get out of high school, it's a whole different world. People don't necessarily care if you're cool or not. They care if you know how to do the job. They care if you have the credentials to do that job. So to get what you want out of life, you have to work hard. You have to believe in education. And I'll just tell you that my grandmother grew up on a farm in Georgia and went through the 8th grade. My mother graduated high school. And I went through and got 6 years of college. And one of the things that people say to me when I say this speech, because I say it everywhere I can go, I'll say it to anybody that'll listen. I had people come up and say, well, Steve, you know, you're too materialistic. We shouldn't all just focus on money. And you know what? I agree with that. I'm a social worker, so clearly I don't focus on money. Clearly money is not my #1 priority, but what education gives you is the choice to go for the money or go for helping people. Education gave me that choice. And at times, so that's what I'm saying to you. Young people, you want to have as many choices as you want. And when you don't do good in your education, you limit your choices. And I want you to have every choice that's available to you. I want you to work with our city. I want you to go out and get the best education you can get. And then I want you to come back to the city of St. Petersburg, because we want to be the kind of city that attracts smart, talented young people and puts them to work and gives them something to do and gives them opportunities. So thank you all very much. Call me anytime. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our guest speaker, I'm sure he knows about Bill Gates and technology and all of those things. We have Bay Point Middle School's own software engineer and technology leader, Mr. Kevin Decker.
Hello, I'm Kevin. I went to Bay Point back in the 90s, which seems like 1,000 years ago, but these days I live and work in Silicon Valley for a company. I help head up a web browser team. And I work for this iconic company that you may have heard of before. But why am I here? I am not here to talk about what I do today. I'm here to talk about how the teachers at Bay Point changed my life. See, back when I was at Bay Point, I was having a pretty rough time.
Microphone.
Oh, really? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. I was having a pretty rough time. I had things going on at home. I had a brother who had a pretty bad illness. On top of all of that, I kind of didn't fit in very well. I was different. And all of these things sort of combined made for my grades kind of suffer. And you know, lucky for me, I had some teachers who believed in me. I had teachers who did not give up. You know, they stuck with me. And I was left wondering why did they care so much? And what I want to do is talk about one teacher in particular who changed my life. So back in the day, I wasn't very good at math. I really struggled. This particular teacher would come in super early in the mornings. Morning after morning, we went over homework assignments, we went over test quizzes, ones that I did exceptionally bad at. And he worked through the problems with me. And he just sort of, he stuck there with me. Above all, what he did, and I would say the school as a whole, was provided the ability to express my uniqueness, charisma, nerve, and talent. And I mean, when you think about this, what the heck? Here is a computer guy who's bad at math. Okay, how is that supposed to happen? Well, at the time, it just seemed that numbers just keep on getting in the way. Of course, you know, later in life, I realized that math is not about numbers, in the sense that it's about patterns and thought processes. And that same teacher I told you about earlier, he helped me get there. And here's something else I discovered, that later in life, this guy would routinely call my mother to both apologize and confide in her that he felt like a failure because he couldn't get through to me. And that's exceptional. This is not like it's my family member, okay? This is somebody, this is another human being that is putting his blood, sweat, and tears trying to help some kid who's struggling. And that's how much he cared. And I'm pleased to report that after all these years later, we still stay in touch. And in fact, we've been to football games, we've been to baseball games, we've been to hockey games, and he's even toured the secret headquarters of the company I work when they came out to visit. Not many people can do that. And matter of fact, just a few weeks ago, his family, he was visiting some family in some extremely remote part of California, and after work on a Friday, I drove 6 hours to the Mojave Desert just to go see him and his wife, who also was a teacher at Bay Point Middle School. So that was one teacher who changed my life. Let me tell you about another. I had another teacher here at Bay Point. It was an illustrious history teacher. He was an absolute drill sergeant. I'm looking right at him. His attention to detail was meticulous. By far, he was the best teacher I had in my entire education by a country mile. And his demand for excellence, and he expected nothing but the best. And if you didn't deliver perfection, done. And like one time, I remember this one kid that like he literally picked him up in his desk with his desk and kindly deposited him outside, an emphasis on kindly, outside the class. If anyone talked back in this class, I think if I remember right, maybe I'm exaggerating, but it felt like the entire class went on lockdown. And you know, heaven forbid you have to come to school to, I don't know, read and study. You know, and practically within the first 15 minutes of this class, we had to learn the preamble of the United States Constitution. Okay, maybe it's 17.57 minutes, I don't care, but it was pretty incredible. Yes, it was that hardcore. Now, as you may recall, I am the computer nerd. So, I mean, hello, what did I care about history? And as you recall, I wasn't doing so well in school. I got very few A's. But you want to know something? In that class, I got an A in that class. And to my own surprise, I fell in love with history. I thought the only thing I cared about was the future. Yet this teacher could bring history alive. One of the things that I am forever grateful to for this teacher is, well, he had us interview our grandparents, you know, the people in the 20s, you know, the so-called greatest generation. My grandma was no longer alive, and so I actually had to sit down with her with a tape recorder and hear what it was like for her as a student growing up, what to live. You know, she had to deal with things like the Great Depression, Prohibition, that would suck, the long road to World War II. And you know what it took to succeed in this class? It took perseverance, dedication, hard work, attention to detail. You want to do something else? The very things that I'm responsible for today in my current day job, those are quintessential skills to be a successful engineer and leader. And you know, as a team, you know, my team scrutinizes every pixel on the display. And if we screw up, millions of people get to see it, and yes, they do write about it on the internet. So I just want to say that I think if you were to sum up everything I were to say into one sentence, I was trying to think the night before, if you were to sum up everything I said, what would it be? And what it would be is, if I have seen further, it is because I've stood upon the shoulders of giants. And can't we all be so lucky? That is very exceptionally special. These teachers, especially the ones I had at Bay Point, and I'm looking at them right now, some of them, they're still here, the same faces. That also is remarkable. They're the ones who may forever change your life. You know, at the time, you know, I was struggling, I didn't realize it, but going back and connecting the dots, I can see how, like, my sequence in life was sort of set in motion. And like I said, nowadays I do things that impact and is responsible for the surprise and delight of millions of people. You know, our job is to figure out what's next, okay? We have these magical devices, you know, in our pocket that connect the world. And that didn't exist but a few years ago. It's fundamentally changing how humans communicate, and information is disseminated throughout the world. Yet, as a kid, I faced all the same troubles that I guarantee you, the same things that affect you guys affected me too. And that's nice. And so, yet, here are all these teachers who could somehow see past my limitations in a point in time when I couldn't see past them myself. That is remarkable. And when you really think about it, it's remarkable. And when teachers push the human race forward, and the last thing I want to say is I am so proud of my teachers that I think one day I want to be one. But today, I just want to say thank you. So, thank you, Big One.
Hey, babe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Decker. We greatly appreciate those words. Now we will have a reading of a Bay Point Middle School poem. I have Holly and Sienna here.
With glistening wings that brush the sky, our falcon spirit stirs. Cast an eye, her heart awaits, Bay Point home for sure. Rising high, she takes her place, hovering over all. A beacon to the Bay Point life, in rooms throughout the halls. A guiding nod to those who need a sense of where to go. Our falcon spirit leads us here to learn, to love, to grow. Bringing home the sky each day, a canopy design. She echoes a nation's learning theme, leave no child behind. Holding hands and hearts alike, home beneath her gaze. We pledge to hold our spirit dear on this our days of days. Smiling as our spirit soars, the journey has begun. Hail the Falcon Spirit, hail the Falcon Spirit, all hail the Falcon Spirit. Bay Point, we are one.
Thank you, ladies. We greatly appreciate that. As we close, I would like to say on a personal note, it is a great honor to serve as principal of Bay Point Middle School. I thank you all for celebrating our great school with us this morning. In addition, I was once told, a good man walks beside a few extraordinary women. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you who those few extraordinary women are. It's our 50th anniversary Bay Point Middle School Committee. As I call your name, would you please stand and be recognized? And before I go through that, I would also like to thank my family, because without my family, my wife and my two daughters that's seated here in the front row, without them, without the long hours, without the countless of missing days, none of this would be possible. So to my wife, Sherry, my daughter Jasmine, and my daughter Shantae, thank you for allowing me to be the man that I am. Thank you. And as you notice, all women. So as I call your name for the 50th anniversary committee, these people have worked tirelessly. They have cracked the whip on me. They have told me, we will do this, we will not do that. And they have told me, follow my lead, Mr. Shedrick. It's time for you to close your mouth and be a follower. And I did as a good man should do. Close his mouth and be a follower. So, I would like to thank Mrs. Rotloff, wherever she is, Mrs. Prater, wherever she is, Mr. Perro, she's somewhere close by, Miss Rando, and this next individual is the one that really cracked the whip. She may be small in stature, but trust me, she come with a mighty bite. And I thank her from the bottom of my heart for helping guide me, of all people. I'm a very difficult person to guide, my family can tell you that. But she put her best foot forward. From day one, she said, we will have a 50th anniversary, Mr. Shedrick, and you will allow me to lead. We are having a 50th anniversary, and she did lead. Ladies and gentlemen, in the back, near Mrs. Harriman, is Mrs. Jaffray. Thank you. As I mentioned, a few extraordinary women. At this time, I would like the special guests to please remain seated for a quick announcement. Everyone else, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you for coming out this morning, helping us celebrate. We have a silent auction, we have food that way, we also have TASCO, we have music, we have Birds of Prey, we have St. Petersburg K9, we have City of St. Petersburg Sanitation Department. We have all kind of things going on this morning, and it's for the rest of the day. Around 2 o'clock, 2:30, we have free haircuts. 1:30, the basketball game and a half shot giveaway. We have a local church organization, free haircuts, hairstyles, food giveaway, clothes giveaway. We have the blood mobile. So we have a host of activities for you. So with everyone in reserved seating, please remain for a quick announcement. Everyone else, thank you for coming out, and I look forward to seeing you throughout the day. Thank you very much for helping us celebrate 50 years of excellence.